spinning though. There it goes.
Why?
What do we got? How much time?
Studios in downtown.
Of all places. You are a brat. You were properly named by Darren. The brat. Total brat.
Yes.
You must have come from a very rich family.
In the previous life.
Sense of entitlement.
That's right.
What I want is important. So this should shut off automatically. The post, leave it in there.
Okay.
Yeah, shut off.
Oh, okay.
Just can't keep it warm.
Okay.
The eggplant rolls and potatoes and everything. All right. They're on, yes. Let me move to the right spot. Okay, and this curl here. We'll start in a few seconds. Seems that things are working. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock here in the northeast of the United States, and this is Kunchap Tardu Ling, the Tibet Center, a Buddhist meditation and study center located in New York City and northern New Jersey. I'm all right, where it's pouring rain now. There's a twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, specifically Lam Rim, and I'll give you the menu after the prayers. Any problems with the picture or sound, and we've had tons of them, let us know by text, myself or Mr. Smith, as soon as possible. All the prayers we say are on the website, and if there's anyone who has passed away recently for whom you want us to pray when we do the recollection of a three-jeweled sutra, put their names in the chat box as soon as possible. So we have different material to cover, which I'll tell you after we start. So prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas, called profound illumination, and at the same time, Noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form, Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering, should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayat Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Sam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. And now refuge and bodhisattva vow, which we say 3 times. It's also on the website. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So, as promised, today's agenda, we will finish this book, start and finish this short book of poems called Practical Poems by Venerable Tenzin Kunkyi. We know her as Marianne. Well, she's a nun studying at Jangchub Choling Monastery in the Karnataka state, adjacent to Rato Monastery, that whole area down there in the south of India. She had just done some 2 years or so in a dialectic school. She learned Tibetan. She can write poetry in Tibetan because she had to. And she's a homegrown person between the Paris Center and the Tibet Center in New York. I'll give you a little more biography. She studied under Dakpo Rinpoche in Paris. And in 92, she got a fellowship to teach English literature at City College, New York. So she was coming here for 10 years or so. And Dakpo Rinpoche said, when you get to New York, go immediately to Chunlarato Center. And she did. I saw when she first came in, cold day, she had a green overcoat. And She studied 10 years, from 92 to 2002. She witnessed 9/11 in New York City, saw the buildings fall. So she has a good background. And she worked for the UN until she retired and became a nun as soon as she retired. That was her idea. She's also run a small center outside of Geneva, Switzerland, the part of France that touches it. I said this last night. But anyway, what I'm emphasizing is she's more or less homegrown, ordained person, as is Venerable Vreeland, the first Western abbot, as is Jackie Venerable Karuna. So our little center produces some very good practitioners. Too bad I'm not one of them. So let's hear some poetry and enough blah, blah, blah. We're going to put all of these on the, pardon me, on the website. So you don't have to worry if you don't hear it, etc. It's going to be on our website, all of them. Thanks, Darren. Tibetans say tsering when you sneeze, like we say, God bless or begazunta, whatever. They say tsering, long life. Oh boy, I'm going to live long. A little factoid. This poem is called Unprepared. How many lives did I waste serving the whims of the body, the cravings of the mind, for a quick flick of pleasure? How many times did I travel the road that leads only to more craving and greed, with no end in sight? The more pampered the body, the less suffering it can bear. The more indulged the mind, the less kindness it can share. With old age and death looming, now I see I learned nothing. Comfort finally brings no ease, and to the next life, unprepared, I'm gone. So a little warning. And on that page, she has a picture of a skeleton from the Delhi Museum, the adjacent page. I don't think it comes out good on the thing. Well, we will try and scan the whole thing. She wants no money for this. She said, give it to anyone who's interested, and that's that. A real practitioner. Gratitude. This is a poem to her root guru, Chabje Dakpo Rinpoche, who runs the big Paris Center. He's out of Gomang Monastery. He's way back, he's the reincarnation of Atisha's guru, Serlingpa. So he goes back. And incidentally, he's got a center in Jakarta, in Indonesia, where Serlingpa lived many, like 1,000 years ago or so, something like that. Gratitude to Chabje Dakpo Rinpoche. Caring for oneself, vast suffering crows. Caring for other, bodhicitta grows. Caring for all living beings, scores of happiness flow. However, for years, the alcohol of ignorance I drank. In the arms of laziness, I slept. To the delusions of attachment, I purred. Through the flames of anger, I raged. Listening to the 7 voices of pride, lower and lower, mutilated and blind, to a prison of darkness I fell. What enemy threw me there? Finding none but myself, I despaired. Was there hope? Was there help? Could I be freed of the shackles of my own mind? Then you came, magnificent and humble, your mind free and tamed. You took my hand softly, lifting away all doubts, forgiving and patient. You helped me to my feet and pointed to another path, a path to love, to compassion, and to freedom. Freedom from ignorance and from the dungeon of a deluded self. Dharamsala 2021. Powerful stuff. This is a genre that's Poems of Early Buddhist Women was the first book that came out. And now several people are working in this genre now, several nuns, Buddhist nuns that I know, I heard of, I don't know. But this is very well done. This one is called A Miser's House. Rotten pipes bumble like sprouts, and iron sheets patch up the yard. Old pots and pans rust in corners in case they might find a purpose. It's a hoarder, in other words. A day laborer asks for an old sheet to shelter the cow who gives him milk. A lone woman begged for pots and pans she may sell to feed her child. A puny boy cried for some rags to lay a bed a bit, softer than concrete. To all I said, sorry. I wish I could. See, I'm not rich. I may need those. The attitude of stinginess. Next verse. Every day more junk piles in the yard, rots in the corners of the miser's house. Generosity is a virtue for the rich, but since the root cause of wealth is giving, next life again, for fear of losing, I'll find myself with nothing to give. Jangchup Choling Nunnery, January 2024, recent one. This one is called Lion's Roar. Very short. 2 legs to walk, 2 arms to care and bear, 2 wings to fly and soar, 2 lips to smile. This is all you need. To soar and roar like a lion, to shy away from pain, to know the world's aim, and to soothe it all. Dharamsala, December 2022. And this one is called Inexhaustible Kindness. There's 2 more. I'll read the last 2. Don't spare kindness. Don't save it for tomorrow. Spread love today. Give it all to all. Don't think that your words are not worth a penny. A smile to a dog or a baby means more than money. Don't worry, it won't dry out. The more you give, the stronger it grows, and faster it flows. If you fear being kind, shall make you weak, rather. Fear that bullies will surely bully you. Behold, love is an armor of gold. It protects against all foes. Let them giggle and despise. You'll get stronger. Seeing all beings as kindred, there are no enemies left. Kindness becomes inexhaustible. And finally, that was written at her monastery, Dakpo Shedrupli. No, where she went on retreat, May of 23. That's a monastery way up in the Himalayas. Very interesting. She said it's very beautiful. Last poem, Why Write? Taking their boat to lovely shores, some write to please or to fantasy themselves as other, a writer perhaps. Others write to heal, to lick their pains and sorrows, to capture and render feelings on which they choke. Writing may be the only cure for me to keep breathing, the only pill I need to let love grow. Writing needs not be sold. It is a whisper in your ears, a love song to love life and laugh it all. Dharamsala 2022. So that's poems, practical poems are called by Venerable Tenzin Kunkyi, or Marianne Guénaud, used to be known as. Good practitioner, very inspirational. So, if you like them, and when she writes more, we'll put more on our website. And meanwhile, these will be scanned and placed on the website so you can reflect on. They're actually meditations, right out of the Lamrim. So a little bit now of Mahamudra, but this is sort of like advice for the whole path. Chensei Chuki Lodro. Chensei Chuki of the Dharma, something like Chuki. Maybe it's pronounced much better than I'm doing it, but I've known people with that name. That's how I pronounce it. Chuki, get over here. So I'm going to give you his biography, a bit of it, so you get an idea. He's fairly modern. He's dates are 1893 to 1959. Here's his brief bio. Widely considered to be the Lama from Eastern Tibet who had the greatest influence on the Tibetan Buddhism of his time. Recognized as an emanation of the great Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, he was enthroned at a young age at Katok Monastery, where he began his studies. At 15, he was invited to direct Dzongsa Monastery. He studied under many great masters from different schools, very ecumenical, so to speak. He then tirelessly gave transmission of the Tibetan Buddhist heritages to countless lamas from all schools, and particularly to those from the Nyingma and Sakya traditions, including one of his main Dharma heirs, disciple Dilgo Chensei Rinpoche. In 1955, when he sensed that the conflicts generated by the Chinese invasion would cause great destruction in Tibet, Zhongsar left and went into exile in Sikkim. There he established his permanent residence and for the rest of his life continued to give extensive teachings. So he died in 59. He died as Tibet was being overrun. So here's a poem called Crucial Points of Spiritual Practice. I bow down to Lord Orgyen, the peerless refuge. Don't worry about Orgyen is right now. The Orgyen. That's not the point. You can look that up. Now that you have, here's the first verse. Now that you obtain this human life, this eminent support, free and well favored, don't waste it. By every means, extract its quintessence, basic knowledge. The very high teachings mixed in here with very practical advice. Mind is the root of all phenomena. If, complacent and careless, you neglect to examine it, it becomes an expert liar. But when you examine it, it has no root or basis. All phenomena of samsara nirvana are nothing but the play of pure and impure. In the fundamental nature, primordially pure and empty, neither samsara nor nirvana have the slightest existence, inherent existence, of course, right? Emptiness is not a mere nothingness. It manifests spontaneously as radiant wisdom, and from it, awareness and compassion shine forth. Awareness has no name, no characteristics. From its creativity, the multiplicity of samsara and nirvana arises. Yet, what arises and what makes it arise are not two. Simply rest in this non-duality. It's a very high practice, but hear it and think about this. Very good. Motionless, rest in the tranquility of body. Breathing naturally, rest in the tranquility of speech. Not chasing after attachments, rest in the tranquility of mind. Rest in the state of immensity, ease and freedom. Rest in the state of immensity, ease, and freedom. And very interesting. So you could. These are actually little meditations. This awareness of unborn Dharmakaya. Now he's telling you what it is not a product of causes and conditions, but is present of itself, vivid, simple, naked, unaltered by notions of subject and object, so it's non-dual, right? Unaltered by conceptual efforts. Rest in this effortless contemplation. But rest is just a word. In truth, there is no one who rests and nothing to rest in. At all times, without distraction, maintain the recognition of the face of Dharmakaya, awareness-emptiness. The state of Dharmakaya. At least imagine it. That's all I can do, vaguely imagine it. Next verse. Deluded samsaric activities have no end. The more you strive in them, the more they multiply. And the more thoughts of enmity or attraction invade your mind, thus creating the cause for being reborn in the lower realms. So in other words, another word of advice in the midst of all this sublime teaching, defensive posture always. Put your trust in the Dharma. Blend your body, speech, and mind with it. And thus entering the path of liberation and enlightenment, at the time of death, you will have no regret. In this life, as well as future lives, you will go from bliss to bliss. Contemplate above your head or in your heart the teacher who shows you the greatest kindness, as inseparable from the great Orgyen, and arouse ardent devotion. You see your guru as the emanation of the Buddha, or the Buddha itself. And keep that in your, however you like. Visualize on your head all the time, in your heart, whatever. maintain the awareness and connectivity to the Guru. Why? Well, the Guru teaches the things that will bring you enlightenment. When good or bad events, happiness or suffering arise, pray to your spiritual father or mother, and merging your mind with his or her mind, remain in that state of union. When the hour of death comes, give up all attachment and aversion. Meditate on Lord Organ above your head, visualizing your consciousness as a syllable re upon a disk of light. Make it dissolve into the Lord Organ's heart. If you practice this meditation regularly now, you will remember it easily at the moment of death, and pray to be reborn in the glorious copper-colored mountain. That's the kingdom of Padmasambhava, a pure land. So we could take it, on our terms. So the basic advice is the same, no matter what the particulars of the visualization are. In brief, the practice of Dharma is to sever all that ties to samsara, to cultivate gentle love and compassion for all beings of the six realms, and at all times, without distraction, to thoroughly master your own mind. Although I have no inner realization, I, a dharmaless fellow who lives on religious wealth, called Chuki Lodro, wrote these few pieces of advice, simply not to refuse the request of the noble and virtuous Lady Pelu. Sarva Mangalam, may all be auspicious. Very humble, as they all are. Very good advice. This, of course, was one of my favorite books, On the Path to Enlightenment, the Matthew Ricard compilation of inspirational poems and short paragraphs of advice, which helped him. It's like his little meditation review book. Look at the results. Matthew Ricard is a very good teacher, very literate. So back to work. Back to the Prajnaparamita from His Holiness Dalai Lama's collaboration with Venerable Children. This is Searching for the Self, Volume 7, which we have been reading the last two sessions here. So I'll continue. We'll do the paragraph we did at the end because it's complicated and we have to go over it again. It mentions the Kasyapa Sutra from the Heap of Jewels Sutra, Ratnakuta. And I said last night I'll find it and bring it in. Well, the copy I have is not the whole Ratnakuta. It's selections from the Heap of Jewels Sutra by Garma C. Chang. So Kasyapa Sutra section is not in that selection, nor is the questions from Upali, which are two sutras that are constantly quoted by Geshe Sopa, His Holiness, many people. I'll have to find the whole sutra and check the relevance, see if His Holiness is telling the truth. Of course he is, but he wants you to do things like that. So remember, we were talking about, we're involved in the emptiness is form statement. Form is an emptiness. Form is empty, rather. Here I go. I made the mistake too. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. It said this doesn't literally mean emptiness is form. It indicates that what we call form is a dependent arising and utterly empty of independent existence. So it's what we call form. So what we call form is a dependent arising and utterly empty of independent existence. Because it arises dependent on other factors, it lacks inherent existence. I'm skipping now because we already had this lesson. A form is part of a vast interconnected array of interdependent functioning things that exist within emptiness, within their being empty of true existence. One way of thinking of it is just as space allows for movement of people, cars, placing of furniture, whatever, emptiness allows existence to occur. Emptiness allows being things to react with each other. It's like the space that allows activity. You're empty, I'm empty, we're all. Within this, when the sutra says form is empty, emptiness is form, the meaning is emptiness, therefore form. You said this last time. Form, therefore emptiness. Because there is emptiness, there is form. Okay? Because there's form, therefore there's emptiness. In other words, because form is empty, the only way it can exist is dependently. It is not possible for something that is not empty to exist. And because form's emptiness exists, form exists. Form and form's emptiness depend on each other. They are mutually dependent. Now, here's this Kasyapa's chapter from the Heap of Jewels Sutra, as His Holiness quotes in it. It lists many ways in which something can be empty. One is other emptiness. What is other emptiness? As in the temple being empty of monastics, right? The temple being empty of monastics is other emptiness because the basis of emptiness, the temple, is empty of some other thing, the monastics. That's one way. That's other emptiness, which is, refuted. But the manner of being empty in form is empty is self-emptiness, empty of self-nature. So like people, it doesn't mean the glass is empty. The things like that. It's not the container is empty. It means self-emptiness, empty of self-nature. Emptiness of self-nature does not mean form is devoid of form. Form is form, and the reality of form being form is not rejected. Rather, form is devoid of an inherent nature. It is empty of being an inherently existent form. Emptiness does not imply non-existence. Of course not. Rather, the fact that things are empty of inherent existence allows for them to arise dependent on causes and conditions. Emptiness and dependent arisings are compatible. And that's been repeated a lot and will continue to be repeated until samsara is empty. By all the Buddhist schools of Tibetan Buddhism, all the Prasangika schools. We may think that form has some sort of objective existence or existence from its own side, and that is now being made empty of objective existence. In the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, in 25,000 lines, the Buddha states, form is not made empty by emptiness. Form itself is empty. In the chapter of Questions from Upali, in the Ratnakuta Sutra, the Buddha clearly states that causes are not made empty by emptiness, nor are they negated by being negated by emptiness. Rather, causes themselves are empty. That means that there is no objectified basis that is the referent of the term form or cause. No objective standing on its own, remember, which we repeat. All phenomena are totally devoid of any inherent reality in and of themselves. We'll hear that again and again, too. Emptiness as form indicates the conventional existence of form. The expression, the dawning of emptiness is the meaning of dependent arising, is the meaning of emptiness as form. I'll say it again. Emptiness as form indicates the conventional existence of form. The expression, the dawning of emptiness as the meaning of dependent arising, is the meaning of emptiness as form. That is, the fact that phenomena lack inherent existence indicates that they exist conventionally. Conversely, the expression, the dawning of emptiness arising as the meaning of emptiness, is the meaning of form is empty, and he explains, because phenomena arise dependently, obviously they lack inherent existence. I'm on now page 192 if you have the book. I'm checking the time to make sure I don't run over. The conventional reality of form is that it is a dependent arising. Hear this over and over. Try to think through these, not just let them be slogans, but try and think meaning. You yourself, I myself, we're all dependent arisings. Join the club. It comes into being as a result of causes and conditions. In a dependently arising world, which is what we live in, the law of causality is feasible, and cause and effect can be positive. Form's nature as a dependent arising is possible only because it is empty of inherent existence. Emptiness as form tells us that form arises within the emptiness of inherent existence. The ultimate nature of all phenomena, emptiness, is the basis that allows for the form and everything else to exist, just as space allows you to put things in it. Like that. The world of diverse objects is an expression or manifestation of emptiness. We hear this sometimes poetically. The world of diverse objects is an expression or manifestation of emptiness. If emptiness were not phenomena's ultimate nature, if phenomena existed inherently, they would be frozen in time and unable to arise or function because they wouldn't be independent of all other factors. Because they would be independent of all other factors. no motion, everything's static, a frozen world, such as causes and conditions. Dependent arising is possible only in a world that is empty of inherent existence, and the emptiness of inherent existence is possible only in a world that exists dependently, back and forth, back and forth. You wouldn't be able to perceive things if there were, because we would be inherently existence, and the act of perceiving is emotion. We'd be frozen. So obviously, you're empty, I'm empty. So let's go out and have a good time. No. So that's, obviously, think about it. Makes it simpler. Here's a very important point, because sometimes people carry over ideas from other religions. Emptiness is not an absolute reality like Brahma, God, or cosmic energy or primal substance that is an underlying reality at the heart of the universe, out of which the world of multiplicity arises. It's not that. Sometimes you see Prajnaparamita as the mother, and so people take that to be an objective thing, and that's from her everything happens. No, just an expression, a convenient way of describing emptiness, because as a mother gives birth to everyone who's around, everyone has a mother. Similarly, everything exists because of the mother Prajnaparamita. Emptiness, allowing for existence. Emptiness is not an independent reality somewhere far away, out of which the diversity of phenomena arises. Emptiness is right here, right now. It is our very nature and the nature of everything around us. Again, we're all empty here. We're all mammals, whatever. From the Madhyamaka viewpoint, emptiness is the absence of the elaboration of inherent existence. Emptiness is the absence of the elaboration of inherent existence. It is not an emptiness that is totally devoid of any basis, because, this is very important now, emptiness can only be understood in relation to individual phenomena. Empty of what's empty? Something has to be empty. What is being characterized as? So the emptiness of the cup is there, the cup falls and breaks. The emptiness of the cup is not there. The emptiness of the pieces are still there, if you really want to nerd out. But that's the idea. The emptiness of the tree, it's not inherently existent. When the tree is gone, along with it goes its status of being tagged as empty. But that's, so emptiness is not something that lives over here far away and things come out of. That's it. They are allowed to exist because of emptiness. From the Madhyamaka viewpoint, emptiness is the absence of elaboration of inherent existence. It is not an emptiness that is totally devoid of any basis, because emptiness can only be understood in relation to individual phenomena. I'm repeating for emphasis. Emptiness depends on a conventionally existent phenomena whose nature it is, whose ultimate nature it is. Any conventionally existent phenomenon has the conventional reality and its ultimate nature, not inherently existent. You, me, everybody. Here's very important. Emptiness is a non-affirming negation. It is not an affirmative phenomenon that we can find. We can't find it. It is not an independent absolute reality because it depends on phenomena whose ultimate nature is empty. It's a dependency itself. Hence the idea, emptiness of emptiness, right? We can speak only of emptiness of specific objects, not an external, independent, absolute energy. Hold on, the doors. Watch the cat. Don't let him out. It's raining. Someone is invading our space. Oh. Since emptiness can only be known in relation to individual phenomena, if an individual thing ceases, its emptiness also ceases. Okay? And we just went through this. But although that emptiness is not a product of causes and conditions, because the basis upon which it is understood no longer exists, the emptiness of that thing also no longer exists. And here's the same thing I said before. When the cup breaks into pieces, the emptiness of the cup no longer exists. However, since the pieces exist, the emptiness of the pieces exists. Something to nerd out on a rainy night, right? So this goes on page 193. 193, yes. The lighting in here has gone from bad to worse. Oh, I see why. Hey, take me away. I'm ready to go. Depending on the conventional object we choose as the basis of our meditation on emptiness, our meditation may be more or less powerful. So, what are we going to think of as being empty? He's saying now, when we meditate on emptiness in deity yoga, the basis of our meditation is a pure object, the form of a deity, and we meditate on its emptiness. In Mahamudra and Dzogchen, the mind is the basis of meditation, and we focus on its emptiness, the emptiness of the mind. Meditating on the emptiness of the mind, the I, or the form of a deity will have a strong impact on us than meditating on the emptiness of a candle or the garage or whatever, anything. So that's important, the object, for many reasons, especially the emptiness of Buddha's form or the deity, a deity. Meditating emptiness of the mind, as Dzogchen and Mahamudra, takes certain instructions, certain techniques. Some people take to it right away, some people don't. There's something in Buddhism for everybody. So emptiness is not other than form, and form is not other than emptiness. That thing we repeat all the time. What does it mean? This is what we're talking about. All of the Buddhist teachings were given within the framework of the two truths, conventional or veiled, and ultimate truth. These two sentences indicate the relationship between the two truths. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is not other than emptiness. Right? Although the understanding the nature of reality in terms of the two truths was common to many systems of thought in ancient India, both Buddhist and non-Buddhist, yes, they all had two truths. The subtlest explanation speaks of them not as two separate independent entities, but as two aspects of one phenomenon. What does His Holiness say? Two sides of the same coin. That's an easier way. Conventional truths, which include form and the other four aggregates, are the truths of everyday worldly conventions. This is the level of reality that is ascertained by mere appearance or ordinary consciousness. What we see, that's it. Conventional truths are not established by the reasoning analyzing the ultimate, nor are they in the purview of that wisdom. They constitute the world of multiple and diverse phenomena. Ultimate truths, on the other hand, are those arrived at through a reasoned analysis of the ultimate. So what are you doing? What is the real essence of this appearance? What is it? You can't find it. That's it. There's no essence other than dependence. See? No core thing that stands apart from everything else. No God particle, which they're looking for. When we search for the deeper mode of existence of phenomena, we find their emptiness of inherent existence. This is their suchness, tattva in Sanskrit, their ultimate mode of existence, the ultimate truth. Cue the violins. Okay, no, cue the trumpets, better. Emptiness is not other than form. What does that indicate? Indicates that the emptiness of form is form's ultimate nature. The fact that there's no core inherent thing there, that's its ultimate nature. Same with us, same with our minds. Oh, tough. It is not separate and unrelated to form. Emptiness does not exist apart from the individual objects that are empty. Emptiness cannot be independent from the basis on which it is ascertained. So it itself is a dependency. Emptiness is empty. The emptiness of emptiness. You got it? We keep repeating these, but they have to be looked at from other angles. Like you want to buy a house or something, you walk around it, or a car, you look at it this. Same thing. Similarly, form is not other than emptiness. Means that form and other veiled truths exist within the reality of emptiness and are in the nature of emptiness. Form and veiled truths in general, or conventional truths in general, if you prefer, and its emptiness cannot be separated. If one exists, so does the other. If one ceases, so does the other. You get the idea of two sides of the same coin? Very interesting. The two truths are inescapable. They have one nature, but nominally different. A word that Rinpoche liked. Or only nominations, he would also say, just named as, he would always say, named as this. So, You're here and you texted. Wait a minute. How did you do that? That's pretty good. We're in the presence of a high yogi here. We must contemplate the emptiness of feelings and so forth, as well as the emptiness of form. Yeah, form is empty, form, feelings, discriminating awareness, all those skandhas, whatever, those heaps, those pumpos, can be run through the same sentences. And it's a good idea to do it. You start to get more feeling for the meaning. His Holiness recommends that. In fact, he's going to suggest a few meditations now. When the Heart Sutra says, perfectly looking at emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates, also, the word also indicates the person who is designated in dependence on the five aggregates, that person, I, me, is also empty of inherent existence. You empty the same nature of everything. Okay? In your practice, it is helpful to think, and this is very good. This is very simple meditation as you're walking around the world. So, I am emptiness. Emptiness is me. Emptiness is not other than me, and I'm not other than emptiness. Such meditation will have a powerful effect on your mind. So take that as gospel somewhat. We don't like to use that word. Take that as very, very good advice. And when he says it will have an effect on your mind, you test it out. Maybe this is propaganda. Maybe this isn't the truth. Only way to find out is you in the laboratory of your mind. So again, it's helpful to think, His Holiness says, I am empty. Emptiness is me. Emptiness is not other than me. I'm not other than emptiness. And he says such meditation will have a powerful effect on your mind. So take it as a precept, if you like. Nothing is forced there. Buddhism suggests, it doesn't command. It's not fascist. So here's some little reflections you could do to make this, to vivify this, to make this more, bring it home, more or less. One, think of a form such as your body. Yeah, you must. It feels very solid, as if it were independent of causes and condition. It existed objectively from its own side. Does it? You think that way? Next point, now this train of thought, does your body exist in the way it appears? Is it dependent of causes such as the sperm and egg of your parents? Did it just show up? Feels like it. Feels like we know how to speak and everything that our mother didn't teach us or father or whatever. No, we always trip over dependencies. That's the ego working overtime. I do everything. Yeah, not really. You had to learn to speak, and all that. Your form was caused by two elements, father and mother elements. Your mind was caused by a previous mind. You just didn't drop down here with all your thoughts. Because the only thing that can cause a moment of consciousness, blah, blah, on and on, we say, is a previous moment of consciousness. So when that sperm and egg unite and consciousness comes there, that consciousness is coming from a previous life and it's ongoing. Consciousness is eternal. It can't be destroyed. And it always was. So bear that in mind, because we're carrying this around with us. It helps. Stops us from being narrow-minded, at least, because everybody else is that way. Third point he's making, focus on the thought, my body exists only because the causes of it existed. If those causes didn't exist, my body wouldn't exist. So the body, we're talking about the body now, right? When the causes for each moment of the body cease, a new moment of the body will arise. Then it too will cease. Big point, everything's winking on and off. Moment by moment. Comes to being, decreases. Comes into being, it disappears. Into being. The very cause of something is the reason for its demise. Okay? We are in a constant flow. The ego doesn't think that way. Like this. Not really, I think that way, but you shouldn't. Fourth point he's making, these are like little meditations, and I want to make sure I get everything in before them. This understanding contradicts the feeling that the body is an independent entity that will always be there. Do you have that feeling? Fess up to yourself. I don't care what you think. Really. Your body is impermanent and empty of inherent existence. the court has declared. Is that the truth or not? You shouldn't say, yes, that's the, no. Why? Wait a minute. Is this true? That's when the meaning comes up. His Holiness always says, I don't like yes, says. I want why. When I say something, yes, that's right. No, why? Dig in, and that gives you more meaning. How are you going to learn something if you don't challenge mentally? You don't scream on the corner, all these things. But really. So sometimes you hear, well, the English think this, the English think that. Well, here comes His Holiness's answer. It was a little different, same, the prasangikas, how you pronounce it. The tradition, this is Holiness on page 194. We're almost at the end of the chapter, take heart. The tradition coming from the Nyingma master Mipam, who's relatively modern, 1846, 1912, presents these 4 lines in the Heart Sutra as the 4 approaches to understanding emptiness. I'll do it slowly so you can see the similarity. Here, the 4 lines are related to the refutation of the 4 alternatives. Form is empty, indicates that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence. Okay, that's clear. This counteracts the extreme of existence, the extreme of absolutism. Because absolutism implies inherent existence, I would think, which hold that phenomena are their own ultimate reality, that they exist inherently. So form is empty indicates that's not so. Okay. Emptiness is form, the counter, indicates that within emptiness, it's not actually a counter, the other side. Emptiness is form indicates that within emptiness, form and other dependent arisings appear. Within emptiness, they show up. While phenomena are empty, they also exist dependently. Remember, we said emptiness does not mean non-existent. So while phenomena are empty, they also exist dependently. Emptiness must be understood in terms of dependent arising. We heard that. Hear it again. It's healthy. This counteracts the extreme of non-existence, the extreme of nihilism. Yeah, things are around. That's that. Why do they bang these points home? Because on your own, in your daydreams and your meanderings, mental meanderings, you might come to these wrong conclusions. It's not there. I can't find the I. It's not there. I don't exist. Yeah, you're there. Shut up. It happens. We're so used to inherent existence. When in the meditation they say, I don't know, suddenly there's a void. There's nothing there. Like you, I'm being annihilated. I'm this. No, you're not. But really, nothing really exists. This is just a dream. That's not true. Very important. So while phenomena are empty, they also exist dependently. Emptiness must be understood in terms of dependent arising. This counteracts the extreme of non-existence, extreme of nihilism. Okay, emptiness is not other than form, indicates the union of dependent arising and emptiness, the union of conventional appearances and their emptiness. See, 2 sides of the same coin. Far from being unrelated, emptiness and dependently arising phenomena exist in relation to each other. Yay. This annuls the extremes of both existence and non-existence, both absolutism and nihilism. The king of reasons has shown up. Form is not other than emptiness, shows that dependent arising and emptiness, appearances and emptiness are compatible and complementary. This line presents the total elimination of all conceptual aberrations and enables us to transcend the extreme of neither existence nor non-existence. The Sakyalandre path, which is path and fruit or path and fruition tradition, has a similar 4-fold approach to emptiness. Appearances are established as empty. Emptiness is dependent arising. Emptiness and appearance are a unity. The union of emptiness and appearance is beyond expression or language. The realization of it. Yeah, because there's no duality, and logic and everything depend on dualism. Usually the wisdom realizing emptiness is presented as the antidote to both grasping inherent existence and the extreme of absolutism, and the understanding of dependent arising as the counterforce to both total non-existence and the extreme of nihilism. However, if our understandings of emptiness and dependent arisings have correctly penetrated the depths of these two understandings will work in the reverse order as well. In other words, understanding emptiness will help us transcend the extreme of nihilism. As Sankapa's poem says, the fact that phenomena are empty indicates they are not totally non-existent. They are just empty of just inherent existence. Mhm. Understanding the appearance of dependently arisen phenomena enables us to transcend the extreme of absolutism. Because phenomena exist dependently, they cannot exist inherently. They can't. This reverse way of approaching the two extremes is profound and is unique to the Prasangika approach. So we're at the end of our chapter, the end of our time almost, to see who we pray for. I see some names for the first time. Not Carol, no. Melchior Di Giacomo, a photographer friend of mine, passed away this Sunday. Sorry, Steve. Sam Lieberman, Senator Lieberman. Oh, yeah, Senator Lieberman, Sam Lieberman. I'm all right. Senator Lieberman recently died today. What happened? A result of a fall, Darren? Yeah, he fell. Nobody else? And the 6 people killed the Key Bridge. Yeah, we said it last night, but we'll say it again. Poor people, immigrants doing the work that they have to do, and they're complaining. Never mind, no politics here, just common sense. Sutra, the record of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He's completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. Does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavad, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the Great Yana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. Yes, the result follows the cause. Inconceivable cause, inconceivable result. Very simple. So there's no Tara practice this Saturday. The next Dharma class will be April 2nd, Tuesday night, on the Lower East Side of Manhattan at the Settlement House, Broadway in Houston. Check the website. Class after that, April 3rd, will be here at the parsonage again, and we'll continue, probably go to chapter 17. I have one, maybe this class, the next class, and maybe the third, but then Nicholas returns, our fearless leader, General Geshe Vreeland, Uncle Nicky, whatever you want to call him. He's coming in the night of the 3rd. He's currently in Taiwan leading a retreat and giving a series of lectures in 3 different cities in Taiwan, where the Tibet Center has sister centers there, because Chungla Rinpoche over the years went there all the time. So don't forget to pray for Dakpo Rinpoche, who's recovering, Marianne, the poet's teacher, and pray for her long life and that she has the strength of her vocation. She continues doing, she's doing a lot of good in the world. Some of our Tibet Center children have gone and grown up. I'm still in diapers. Anyway, thank you very much. It's a very tough section of the Lamrim. I'd probably go to the next chapter next week, but we'll see. Big love to all of you. Take care, guys. You going to cut it? Or you want me to cut it? You got it?